This one's going to be another really quick, really simple one. You can think of it as like an introduction to particle systems, but what we're going to do is we're going to create a super, super simple like Fireflies effect. So say you have a game and you just want to add some twinkling, moving, glowing lights to it. Very, very simple. So in Unity, say you have a project like this and you want to add some Fireflies to it, all you need to do is go ahead and right click and create a particle system. And I'm just going to call this Fireflies. So we want this to be, let's see, where is it? Let's set it in the middle and let's set its start size. Where is start size? Right here, from 1 to be something really small, maybe 0.5. You could go even smaller, 0.4, however big you want them to be. And we also want our start speed to be 0, since we'll be controlling a little bit more about how they're moving. In the emission module, the rate over time, let's give a little bit more. Let's give maybe 20, maybe 30. And in the shape, let's change this from a cone to a sphere. There we go. That way you can kind of visualize where it is. And let's set the radius to be something really big, like 10. Awesome. Perfect. Here, I'm going to zoom in on that in the scene view so we can see it as well. Cool. We can also mess with a couple other modules like the color over lifetime. This little module here, the top keyframes are our alpha. So we could set the first one to be invisible, the last one to be invisible, and the middle to be visible. So they sort of fade in and out. And we could actually maybe add multiple of these. Alpha in, alpha back out, something like that. So they're fading in and out. And we could also give them like a little more yellow of a color. And same with this guy, maybe like a little orange, something like that. And let's also go ahead and go to the size over lifetime. So maybe let's go ahead and edit this curve. So you can click on the curve and then at the bottom, drag this window up, and that's editing the curve for these particles. So maybe we want it to start big and then end small, something like that. There's also these custom curves down here. So like you could just straight up do that one, a linear thing. That's fine. And let's also add some noise into it so that these fireflies are kind of moving around. So the noise module here, honestly, awesome, beautiful, but you can totally mess with the settings within the noise module. So you could set let's say the strength to be a little bit less, 0.5, 0.4. 0.1. What is 0? Oh, nothing at all. 0.1, 0.2. I don't know. You can mess around with it, see what you like. Maybe the frequency is a little bit higher, 0.6, maybe a full 1. Cool. Honestly, that's great. Awesome. And it's just like a really simple way to add fireflies into your project. Yay. Loving that. All right. I'll see you in the next one. And if you want to push this just a little bit further, these are really, really soft particles. Maybe we do want to add just a really quick custom texture into a material so that it looks like a little bug body. And you can do this in any editing software. Like, it's really not fancy what we're about to do. All right, and all we're going to do is take this black square and we're going to fill it in using like a gradient, like a radial pattern. Maybe this looks too similar to our current one. Oh, there we go. Right, and that looks pretty darn similar to our current texture. But what we're going to do is we're just going to add, like, using our pen, that will be white and big, just like one little bright, bright dot. And I could go detail-wise. Little bug, just a little bug guy. He's got a lot of legs. All right, if you're happy with this texture, whatever this winds up looking like, you can save it, drag it into your project, and then all we need to do is create a new material, and let's call this like Firefly _ material. And for this shader, let's go to the legacy shaders, particles, and maybe just alpha blended, maybe additive, alpha blended let's do. And we'll put the texture that we made in there and then attach that material to our Fireflies particle system. So now at the bottom, it's using that shader instead. And it may not be that big of a difference, but let's see. Oh, okay, hold on. The texture is still square. So take a look at your drawing. Make sure that you choose from grayscale and alpha is transparency is checked to true and hit apply. There we go. And now let's hit play. Okay, and it's a very subtle difference, but it's worth it for me to have done that. It's just a little bit of a brighter center. Okay, anyway, that's it for this one. Good job. I will see you in the next one.